Yeah.
You just brought something up there that I thought was a really fascinating delineation, and I'm going to bring this up in the context of I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, a dog trainer friend, who I'll leave until he wants to bring. It's a future idea, but the conversation that we had in this context was when newer people are choosing mentors, they have to make sure that they choose someone who not only has like technical skill, of course, like actually know what they're doing, so to speak, but also know how to teach. And the way that I was kind of driving that point home was like, well, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? And he dude didn't skip a beat. Michael Jordan, boom, right? He almost said it with like an obvious like duh, like Michael Jordan. And I was like, okay, who was the greatest basketball coach of all time? I'll give you a hint. It ain't Michael Jordan. Which it's not. I mean, obviously he knows a lot about the sport and everything else. He was the greatest in his position and what have you. But there's a difference between knowing the ins and outs and knowing how to teach someone who doesn't know the ins and outs, right? So that was just a fascinating, like the way you're describing just sounds like Caesar, I don't want to misrepresent, but so you tell me if I'm wrong. It just almost sounds like Caesar teaches best on the fly, kind of by doing, like almost like the way he teaches dogs. It's not super meticulous, sit and then down and then stay and then this and then that. It's just kind of more like, look, let me show you with my body, with my tonality, with my hand positioning. Let me show you what I'm looking at, including the I'm expressing to you, my like annoyance or whatever that you didn't see what I saw. And then I'm expressing my excitement with how quickly I explained to you when you say you did see.
Except for the part that he had knowing he wasn't doing this on purpose.
Right.
He's doing it instinctually. That's
exactly
one of his greatest gifts is the instinctual level that he is with most animals, but especially dogs. And he has X-ray vision on emotion and intentions, and so yeah, he did teach by doing, but he wasn't teaching. He was just doing.
He was just doing, and you'd watch,
and you were just seeing,
and steal.
And I was watching.
Yeah.
And if I did end up asking questions, he would explain them the best he could, and then I would go and do things and come back. The biggest joke at the DPC was, Linn is coming today. I wonder what finger is missing because I got bit so many times. No. This is a good example of how people misunderstand things.
Right.
All the way from his show to dog owners to dog trainers. This example, I believe, sums it up. And that's, you have to have a pack, Linn. You have to have a pack. That creates the balance. Those basic things that you always hear. So I had 3 dogs at the time, and so I got to have a pack. I went and I got 7 more dogs.
Oh,
wow.
Like that. 7 dogs. So I have a pack now. And I was just getting torn up. My other dogs are getting torn up. And he's like, why are you getting bit so much? Well, you said I had to have a pack. What do you mean? Oh, I got 7 more dogs. And he said, no. You rehabilitate the one dog, and then you bring in another one, and that dog helps you rehabilitate that dog, and then now these 2 dogs. Well, you didn't say that.
You just went and grabbed a bunch of dogs.
But you understand that example right there. Yeah. Everybody these are the words that are being used. So those are the actions people are doing without.
They're like ambiguous or just unclear.
Well,
vague,
it's not vague. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
He's giving you information. He just doesn't understand that you don't have this information to be able to utilize this information.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem.
If he were to say you have to build a pack, that would have been different.
Yeah. If he build a pack, that was another thing. I didn't understand that because, can you hand me the water plate and, and put it on the floor? We're out on a hike, put it on the floor.
Yep.
So his English wasn't as good as it is today, but that's still not either of ours fault. He's talking about something that skips things that he doesn't even know we need. He's forgotten so much stuff that he doesn't even understand that we need.
There was just a lapse in understanding.
Yeah, and that goes from this is how you use your foot to get the dog's attention to me walking into a home where the people are kicking the dog 6 times. Well, I saw Caesar do it. No, you didn't see Caesar kick a dog 6 times.
Yeah.
You saw him touch the dog once when it wasn't paying attention to gather its attention, to give it an imprint on who to pay attention to. And if that didn't work, he didn't do it again.
6
I see
times.
dogs dodging and weeding,
Right.
And then I see those students using their foot and using their hand, and then they're choking the dog. Some lady in Colorado killed a dog a couple of weeks back because she didn't understand. The dog was spinning and tightening itself up. Just let the fucking leash go, for Christ's sake. Start over. Those are the dangers of social media too. People just put up the best parts of social media of what they do. And then people try to mimic that one thing, their version of it.
Yep.
I call it herpes. It just spreads. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
You brought that up, so that's a perfect segue to this question, because I also wanted to ask you about your attitude towards social media. I thought that was really interesting too, how you were just kind of like, I'll put up content whenever I have something to put up, which is, it's kind of refreshing because I know everybody else is like content, right? But also, we were just talking to a couple other trainers about like, at what point, if you put up content or Caesar puts out the show or whatever, and he did it the way that works, right? Especially in context of like this particular dog and everything else.
For entertainment.
Right. Yeah. But even so, like, it worked when he did it because all the other context made sense, which is why he did it, right? But then somebody just watches a 24-minute show, and then they do it, but they do it clearly the wrong way, wrong timing, wrong dog, whatever. I guess my question is, as a trainer, at what point do we either have to be more selective about the content we put out, or put out content, and if someone does it but not the way you taught them how to do it, like, is that our fault or is it their fault for messing it up?
Well, yes and no. I think it's some of the trainers' fault, and the biggest portion goes on the human because they're doing something they saw from 3 minutes of video.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We'll take the idea of, well, I won't say any names, but this guy, he does these interview things, Ask Me Anything, right? And I remember one, and of course I don't watch it all the time, I just have this one that I really remember, and he's talking about the dog in the crate making noise, and the owner doesn't like it. So you put it on 60 and you push the button for 3 seconds. And I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second. So everybody listening, cause at least 30,000, views, go out and buy an e-collar and put it on, and not even get a good e-collar, just buy an e-collar and put it on a dog and put it on 60 and hold it for 3 seconds. With no explanation, even if he could have said, I worked with this person for 3 weeks, I spent some time with the dog to help the dog understand the stimulation. So when you're hearing me talk about numbers and durations, it's specific to this dog and this client. Please understand to do that. That's not what he did. That's not what he did. And he was doing it like this. Just push it for 3 seconds at 60. Make it uncomfortable, or make it suck. That's what he said. Make it suck. I'm like, that, oh God, I don't even know what the dog is. Maybe he's got his paw caught. Maybe he's sick to the stomach. Maybe I got diarrhea and I don't want to do it in here. And now, there's so many other variables.
Yes.
And that's why when you watch my videos, I go out of my way most of the time to talk about, especially in the text, this dog in this situation for this amount of time. And this is only 7 minutes out of 5 days. And then I get people complaining about that. Now, I don't care if you complain about that, because
if you do your due diligence to give it context and give it,
like I said in the beginning, the way you express anger, the way I express anger are 3 completely different ways. If we do it the same way, there's definitely 3 different intensity levels.
Right.
And all of those variations need to be understood before you just go, hey, I got my wisdom tooth pulled and I'm going to open up shop and start pulling teeth. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to start teaching. I'm going to start teaching how to do that.
how to do.
That's the problem that
Yeah.
I have with,
Yeah.
and social media makes it look so easy because they're only putting up that stuff. I'll put up my mistakes. You know, I don't care, but you don't see a lot of me working with dogs often because I'll only put up when I'm ready to put up, but you do have to put content up to keep the algorithm going. So that's why you see a lot of cute stuff with my dogs, my pack, and
I see what you're saying.
And stuff like that.
So you'll stay busy.
Plus, I'm learning the editing process, and so as I'm learning the editing process on cute things and stuff like that, then I can add it to the.
I always love your stories. I always love your stories because they're mostly not dog related.
That's right. Because it's
funny as hell.
my stories.
Yeah.
It's my stories, and I want people to see who I am and see what I can do. Two things. One, because those stories are so popular, I started a thing called What's in the Box, and where I take some because they only last 24 hours, the stories. Right. And so now I can say What's in the Box, and just every couple of weeks put it in the feed so you have access to these really more extreme or more funny stories in that context. But I like doing my stories
I've
like
cracked
that.
up watching your stories over the last couple of weeks.
There's a theme to it. You know, I put a little theme to it.
It's funny.
But the other thing that I'm doing now with the new website that's coming out is, you know, I developed the first shadow program. Now everybody uses shadow program.
Yeah. I have a couple shadows myself, so thank you for that.
I'll see. But people didn't understand. You don't, because you weren't there. The reason I had the shadow program was because of I wanted to create an elite unit, like my elite unit shadow program. That's what the idea was. But then, you know, some of my students got their wisdom teeth pulled and went and started a school right away and took the shadow program on. So I don't mind that now as much as I took it personally at first. But now, from the creator of the first shadow program comes the first digital shadow program. So I am putting up all my raw footage, unedited, except for the parts that, you know, because when I talk to clients, students, I bring in their personal stuff and I come back to it at specific times. So some things are cut out that way and some things are all over the place because things are happening. So it doesn't make continuity sense to keep it. So I'll edit that. But, for the most part, it's all raw. Me working with clients, me working with dogs, me working with students.
Wow.
And, right now I'm in the middle of uploading.
And is there a curriculum or is it just content to be watched?
Right now it's just a digital shadow program. You're getting to be the fly on, it's like you're holding the camera and you're getting to see everything that I teach that people pay thousands of dollars for to follow me around. From those first raw videos, everybody's going to be able to interact. And what I want people to do is, I mean, there's going to be so much inside there. Well, he didn't finish what he was saying. Well, why did he do this and go on to there? I want those questions and timestamps so that I can take the same video and then do a commentary version of that and cover every angle. If I don't get the questions, I'll cover every angle I can anyway. And then there'll be a section of edited, because I still like to do the edited versions. And then from all of that, because I have three main philosophies that I created, the pressure matrix, which a lot of people misuse.
The leash pressure. Yeah.
It's not leash pressure. There's no such thing as leash pressure.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. I'm not going to get on my box, but another thing that was taken and spread out too thin, but it's the actual understandings of the pressure matrix. So I talk about pressure in all of my videos, and I show how I use pressure in all my videos. And at some point, I'm going to take bits and pieces of that and make a curriculum. And then same thing for any of the dog psychology, the leash, body mechanics. I'm going to have all of these curriculum type courses, but I just need to get the stuff out there first.
Right.
It takes a long time to take this much footage and put it on one site. So we're just going to start with 20 hours and then go from there. And then I've got, from pressure, I created the, elements of structure, which is an amazing map and compass for any dog owner. and then I have the 10 rules to live by. And
Yeah,
so there'll
I like
be
those 10
videos.
rules. Those
Yeah,
are
the
really
videos
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be very cool. They'll be like I did one with rule number 4 the other day with a lioness, and there were so many wildebeest coming, and she was hesitant, and then out of nowhere, the male lion
Oh,
comes
the
in,
male
slams
lion
into
attacks.
one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep. And rule number 4 is be decisive.
Right.
Any hesitation is seen as weakness and
Mm-hmm.
invites unwanted attention. So
Right.
there'll be scenes from movies. There'll be scenes from YouTube where I'm going to be pointing out how the rules are broken. The key thing about the rules, and also, I just got to sign some paperwork with this person who's going to write my book with me. But I'm so excited about that. When that happens, that's going to be amazing for everybody. But people, it's easy for people to see how the rules are broken.
Yeah.
And this will be in the book. This will be in the curriculum of the videos when it's made. But it's a secret only because people aren't using it. You can see somebody breaking a rule.
Yeah.
These rules are being broken in their natural habitat. I just put titles to them. But those rules are also being followed in their natural habitat.
Right.
They just don't know what they are. I just put titles on them. Now, once you can see how they're broken and how people are following them without knowing that there are rules, now you can learn how to take a rule and influence, take a rule and grow. I use my rules all the time. Rule number 9, when something's new and different, everything is new and different, right? That's
I really love these rules. Could we do a whole span? Could we go over them real quick? Is that possible?
Right now?
Is that something? Oh,
Yeah,
I want to take a quick
say,
commercial break, and then I
break.
want to come back to it.
Sure.
But I want to go into depth because I really love these.
Well, we'll go into some depth.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'll
have
tell
to
you
be.
what the rule is, and we'll go into as depth as you ask.
Perfect. We'll just go in like rule example. But let's go ahead and cut to a little commercial break, and we'll come right back.
Hey guys, Mariano here with the Dog Trainers Podcast. You want to know the best way to help us grow? By subscribing and leaving us a review. It helps others find us, ranks us higher on search results, and broadens our ability to connect with amazing listeners just like you. And now, back to the show.